You know him as Chimera, you know him as El Local, and you also know him as Ricardo Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, how are you this evening?
Hola, buenas noches. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We want to thank you for coming on the show with us tonight. Standard question for our when we get to know our guests. How did you get into the world of professional wrestling? You know, what were your influences and who trained you?
Well, I've actually been doing this whole crazy lifestyle for the last 10 years. It's going to be 10 years in August, actually. I started in Los Angeles, California. I was thankful that my original coach, I got to train with many different people. My main one was this guy named Látigo Blanco from Mexico. And he just beat the living bejesus out of me for a whole year. But because of him, he took me under his wing, and he took me to Mexico, he took me to San Diego, he took me up and down the West Coast. And then he introduced me to a couple of PWG originals in Phoenix Star, Zocre, Nemesis. He introduced me to Joy Ryan, Scorpio Sky, Scott Lost. So through them, I started training with them, and then later on, ended up training with guys like Rikishi, Gangrel, Orlando Jordan, Black Pearl from the Samoan family. So I got to do all that for about 10 years prior to me I got signed 4 years into it, but it was all because of their help and everything they taught me, and that they took me places with them.
Well, that is excellent. I do want to introduce, I believe that we have on the line is the Heroes and Legends founder, Mr. Jason Maples. Jason, how are you this evening?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I'm also on the line. I'm Zane Paisley. We've got on the line Ricardo Rodriguez and your champion, the Heroes and Legends champion, Mr. Drew Skills.
Hey, Zane. Hey, Drew. Hey, Ricardo. Good to see you or listen to y'all.
Stepping in. Right on.
Well, Ricardo, I know we're going to talk a little more about WWE stuff here in just a little bit, but
sure.
I follow you on Instagram. Do you want to give a quick plug, and then I got a couple questions about that?
Well, my Instagram is the letter J _ Rodriguez 818. I post a lot of random stuff aside from my training videos and all that other stuff. A lot of random shenanigans.
What are your other social media? How can our listeners follow you?
Well, actually, currently my Twitter got hacked about 2 weeks ago, so I haven't been able to get back into it. But hopefully, when I get back into it, I'll be more active on it. Hopefully, nothing bad has been going on it because I haven't been on it for about 2-3 weeks under the name RRWE. So hopefully, it's nothing wrong or nothing bad has been going on over there. I've checked a couple of times, and so far so good. But I got hacked into about 3 weeks ago while I was still in India.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to ask you about. You spent about 6 months in India, right?
Yeah, man. I was over there with working with the great Khali. He opened up an academy a little over a year ago, and then for the last 6 months of them, I have been the main trainer. With nearly close to 100 students, and we just topped off the end of my 6 months there with 3 huge events, 3 huge shows, which brought in roughly about a total between 3 shows, a good 75,000 people, maybe more. Actually, a lot more. Probably a good 90,000 people that showed up within those 3 shows that we had. And it featured a lot of international talent, you know, guys from Austria, guys from Canada, like the U.S., as well as like 4 female wrestlers that came in as well. So that was actually really cool to see how everything just blossomed at the end before I left. So I'm hoping to do more with them down the line and in the future, because my goal was to bring wrestling to India. Since there's a huge market for it there. So I think we did that before I left. So I'm very proud of that.
Well, is Khali as over as in India as we would expect? Because I've heard that obviously you can see him from a mile away. Is he just mobbed by people every time he walks out?
Yeah, no, of course. And then he was also a movie star prior, and he also works for the government. So he's a government figure, and then he's a movie star. And then the whole wrestling thing, obviously, But and I've said this in other interviews and other, discussions I've had where, like, I cannot describe to you the level, of stardom that this guy has in India. And I've said this before, to me, the closest to it is on that, like, Beatles, Rolling Stone status. It's beyond ridiculous. And it's something that I wish everybody can see. Cause you'll have a whole new level of respect for him. Because he knows it as well, about how he was portrayed while he was here in the States. But I think he didn't care because he knows how much of a bigger star he is back home. But it's seriously, it's incredible. It's unreal.
Well, and then on your way back to the States from India, you stopped off in Australia, right?
Yes, I was there for a week. I did a week-long seminar with Andrew Carter and AAW in Perth, Australia, and then I did a one-day thing in Melbourne for Outback Championship Wrestling. And then from there, I flew back to India for a day and then back home. So I've been home for about just a week. Actually, just 1 week I've been home.
Now, when you say home, are you down in Orlando?
Yes, I'm in Orlando, Florida. I've been here I've been in Florida for about 6 years already. But in Orlando for about 2.5, 3 years. So I like it. I mean, I enjoy it. It's a lot cheaper than California, so I enjoy it.
And are you working with the Vision Dojo down there?
Yes. It's actually Larry Zbyszko school, but myself, this guy Aaron Epic, this guy Jason Rance, we run it. We're the trainers there, and then recently we've had a lot of guest trainers come in. We had your Bill DeMott, your Billy Gunn, who's actually going to be at the events this weekend. Sammy Callahan, Bull Dempsey, Sylvester LaFleur, who just debuted at TNA, with his, partner, Marcus. So we in the last couple of months, we've had a lot of guest trainers, and I think it's something that helps out our students as well, just because it offers them, insight and connections with, guys that have been to the WWE and have also were guys, that were names on the independent scene, before and now. So I think it's something that benefits us, that we have so many connections with these guys that come in and help out our students. So, but yeah, that's been where I've been at for the last 2.5 years, aside from the India thing. So I'm glad to be there.
Well, you had mentioned the event this week, so I'm going to kick it over to Jason Maples to tell all of our listeners all about Heroes and Legends 6 coming up this Saturday at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jason, can you tell our listeners all about the event?
Yeah, absolutely. So our sixth event, Heroes and Legends 6, appropriately named. I just think this is going to be our best one yet. I say that every time, and then that ends up what's happening. I'm pretty excited about it. It's this Saturday. As you said, it's at the Coliseum. We've got a great lineup that I'm pretty excited about. Of course, you've got Drew there. He's going to be taking on Abyss in the main event. We've got Billy Gunn and Tatanka, Al Snow, Too Cold Scorpio, Greg Valentine, Tommy Rich, Bobby Fulton, many more guys coming on the show. DJ Zima Ion, of course, Ricardo. I think a well-rounded card, and the fans are going to, certainly get their money's worth for sure.
Can you tell us what Ricardo Rodriguez's role is going to be on the Heroes and Legends card?
Kicking ass.
Well, right? I was really excited about it. I've been trying to get him booked the last 2 shows. Thought he might have been available for 4, and then just the timing was wrong on 5. And I'm a fan of his work, and I wanted to get him up here. I know the fans are going to be excited to see him. And just so happened he got back with me and said he was available. And at that time, I said, I've got a good opportunity. We've got this huge battle royal, and you've got an opportunity to just stay with us full time, or as his schedule allows. And all you got to do is chuck 20 other guys or 19 other guys out the ring, and I'm going to let you pick what you want to do that night on the show. And he was like totally down for it. And I think those other 19 guys got a tough job ahead of them if they want to chuck him out. I've been kind of watching some of the stuff that he does as Chimera. Did I say that right? Chimera?
Close enough. Chimera, close enough.
Okay. And my God, that's some good stuff, man. Win or lose, we definitely want you back around, but definitely win gets you the option of doing whatever you want later on in the evening, and whether it be cash in a shot at Drew there or anybody else on the roster. I think it's going to be exciting, and if the fans look at the website, they can see the other 19 people involved, including Sugar Dunkerton, who will be on the show later on tonight with you, and some other guys. Actually, some guys, I started promoting back in 1995, and there's still a few of the guys with us from way back then, and even some of those guys are in the Rumble. So that may be one of the coolest matches of the night, I think.
Well,
for sure. It'll be interesting. It'll be good.
Well, before I kick it over to the Heroes and Legends champion, I do want to point out some of the names in this Battle Royal, 20-man Battle Royal. Just looking at the card, I know Linux King, I know El Gavilan, I know El Maro, I know Luke Lawson, Mance Warner, obviously Sugar D, Sage Phillips, Clint Poe, Just Justin, Mr. Fitness. There's some really heavy hitters in there. Alexander S. Kirk, you've got your work cut out for you for this Battle Royal.
It's all good, man. I mean, I've faced several challenges in my life, so I think I can handle this one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to kick it over right now. This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show on the Angry Marks Podcast Network, where you can find the best pro wrestling and mixed martial arts podcasts. All you need to do is go to angrymarks.com, click on the podcast key, or you can download it on your phone, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But right now, I am going to kick it to the Heroes and Legends heavyweight champion for the past, 1,400 days? Drew Skills.
It's been something like that. It's been over 3 years, and I got to tell you, I'm super excited about the event Saturday. It's good to hear your voice on here, Jason. Nice to meet you, Ricardo. I wish you luck in that match, but I think Jason, he's way too intelligent to try to insert himself in the heavyweight championship. I mean, come on, let's keep it real here. But in all seriousness, man, I've been doing this going on 16 years now, and there are some things that I really look forward to, but nothing gets me as excited. Nothing makes me feel like a kid waiting for Christmas morning like Heroes and Legends, man. It's a huge event, and I can't wait. Big Jason.
That makes me happy to hear you say that, by the way, Drew. I'm a big fan of yours as well, brother, and we've been up and down the highways, and I can't think of a better wrestler to flagship my company, bro. And you got some issues with Coletta, but for me, man, I'm proud to have you as my champion.
Right on, brother. I greatly appreciate that, and it's been an honor, and I wear it with pride, and I can't wait to wear it for another 3 years because Abyss isn't taking it off of me on Saturday, that's for sure. Rodrigo, we talked about Ricardo. I'm sorry, we talked about where you've been in the last couple of years, but I think everyone kind of wants to know about the exit. Can you tell our listeners? You parted ways with WWE. What happened there?
It was just a lot of, I think, same thing that happens with a lot of guys. Just there's nothing for you, and obviously I'm always going to be grateful for the opportunity because obviously that's what got me where I'm at now. But there just wasn't anything for me, and even though I tried suggesting ideas, and sometimes it's best to just take a step back and say, hey, you know what? I need to get out. They were kind enough to grant my release when I asked for it. So I know a lot of people think that I got fired. I was never fired. I asked for my release. Just because I wasn't happy anymore. I'm thankful, like I said, for the opportunity, but there just wasn't anything for me. And then I figured I'm still young enough at the time to do, you know, business elsewhere. And then if everything works itself out correctly and right, then maybe in a couple of years I'll come back. We all know that the whole saying, especially here in wrestling, of never say never. But no, a lot of it just, you know, me not being happy and then just, you know, nothing for me. So I figured I can just do something elsewhere. And, in a interesting kind of a way, something better did happen, you know, with this whole India thing. That's something that I'm beyond proud of. That's my baby. And I'll be that, I'll be that father that's going to continuously show you a picture of his kids to everybody. And it's like, yeah, we all know what kids look like, but it's like, no, but this is my kid. So I'm proud of what happened. I'm proud of what we did. And, it was a little like a blessing in disguise, me leaving and then this whole thing with India happening. Like I said, I thank him for the opportunity. It's something that will always live with me. And it's something in my resume that nobody can ever take away. So, but yeah, it was just time for me to move on to something different. And I'm glad I did.
Right on, man. I've been lucky enough to try to put matches together with a couple guys from Japan before in a little exchange. We worked with them, and I know that's not always easy to do, man. You spent 6 months over there. What was it like in the other culture and getting to you know, acclimated to that in the language barrier?
You know, honestly, if anybody's ever been to that side of the world, and if you've ever been to Mexico, you're gonna be, aside from the language, it's basically the same. Aside from the language, and even then, a lot of people speak English because it was obviously a British Commonwealth up until like 1949, I believe, something like that. So a lot of people speak English, broken English, but enough to where you can kind of get by. And then as time goes on, obviously, you know, the more, when you're kind of thrown into the water, you have to learn how to swim, right? So I didn't know a lick of Hindi when I left. I told myself I was going to learn it. I never did, my lazy ass. So when I got there, it just threw me off. But like with time and little by little, I started picking it up because I had to. There was no option of maybe I'll learn it tomorrow. I was like, no, I ended up picking it up. The keywords, especially the bad words, but the keywords are the first things that I learned. And then after maybe 3-4 months, I started putting words together. But at first it was just words, pani, water, kana, food, you know, like toilet, how to ask for a toilet. And then, like I said, with time, eventually you pick up, you know, words and like the second sentence fragments and then just put it together. But it's not that it was a culture shock because of how you realize how people live compared to how we live here in the States. You realize how spoiled we really are, compared to a place like India, which is still considered a third world country. You know, like sometimes we didn't have electricity, so therefore if there was no electricity, the water pumps didn't work, so we didn't have no water. We would have to go to either like the next, the river or like physical pumps and like physically pump out the water out of the earth, and then boil it, and then use that to either drink or to bathe. So just that, or like, because of whatever reason, there was also a lot of shootings, a lot of like, bombings that were going on, because of, religion things that were going on at the time. So aside from that, you realize how much these kids sacrifice just to be part of wrestling. And because obviously there's no other option in India, that's the only wrestling academy in India, like they would have to really sacrifice just to want to be a part of it, to be at the school. So you realize how much like the parents would sacrifice for these kids to go to a wrestling school for a dream, that we may think it's a lot easier, or even though we might think it's hard here in the States, it's a hell of a lot easier for us here than it is for them over there. So I think that was more so of the shock to me to really like appreciate what these guys are going through compared to what we tend to go through here in the States, or, you know, on the western side of the hemisphere. So like it was interesting. I think that's what kind of shocked me the most, to see all that. How these guys sometimes live in huts. They don't have houses. They don't have air conditioning. They don't have, like clean water. They don't have all that stuff. A lot of them, even a lot of my kids, like before I left a lot of my clothes back, because some of them didn't have socks. They didn't have underwear. They didn't have workout clothes. Or if they did, they would only have maybe 2 shorts for the whole week before they had to do the laundry. No deodorant, stuff that we take for granted here. Like, that's stuff that really got to me. Not so much they speak different language. That was, like, to understand people's emotions, you don't need a language. It's simple to understand when somebody's suffering, when somebody's sacrificing, when somebody's happy, when somebody's sad. We're able to read that automatically. We don't need, verbal language to say it. So that was, to me, the culture shock, the whole shock of being over there, to see how much they gave up for this dream that we call wrestling,
Right on, man. That's awesome. It sounds like you're real passionate about it, and it's cool that you got to experience that. One other question I had for you before I pass it back over to Zane, if you don't mind. I hate to go back to the WWE, but, that's very interesting to most of our listeners as well as myself. How was it for you as a worker in the business in a non-worker role? How was that backstage for you?
It sucked at first, because that's what I did. That's what I did, for 4 years. That's what I wanted to. I wanted to wrestle, and then I got hired to talk and not to wrestle. So that at first that sucked a lot. But the more like I started doing stuff behind the scenes, the more I was okay with not wrestling on TV. If that makes sense. Because I was wrestling on the live events. I was wrestling down in FCW at NXT, the dark matches. I was wrestling on the European tours. Granted, I was a mask, but I was wrestling. So, and then not only that, I was doing the thing, like the tryouts with William Regal for 3.5 years. So I did that. So the more I was able to do that, the more I was kind of content with not wrestling on TV. I still wanted to wrestle on TV, but it was easier for me to accept not wrestling on TV. And then little by little, they started taking me away from all that stuff. And then that's where, frustrations and all sort of stuff happened. And, my mood changed, and that's why I needed to get out. It sucked at first because I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm seeing everybody else wrestle, and I'm like, wait, I want to wrestle. I want to play. How come you get to play? I want to play.
For sure.
But now, obviously hindsight, I could have approached things differently, with my attitude, towards it. There's a lot of things I wouldn't change. But obviously hindsight is always going to be 20/20, and things could have been differently if that was the case. Maybe I still would have been there. Or, whatever, somewhere else. But no, man, it's, like I said, it sucked at first, but the more I started doing things behind the scenes, the more I was okay with it, with not wrestling on TV. So, yeah.
For sure. Right on, man. Well, I greatly appreciate you sharing that with us. It's been great to talk to you and great to get to know you a little bit. And I can't wait to meet you on Saturday. And speaking of Saturday, Jason, are you still on?
I don't think so.
I think he took off. Right on. I was going to have him run down the card. Okay,
no, I'm here.
Right on. Do you mind running down the card for Saturday?
Yeah, of course, man. We're going to kick things off. We've got 24 men and women that are swearing into the U.S. Army to open up the show. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you. That's awesome. We did that. I know we did that before with the Army. I believe that was the first one. I remember seeing them out there, and It's really cool that our event does that.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty awesome deal. So it's glad to have them. Like, of course, we've got the 20-man battle royal. We've got some tag matches with the handicapped heroes challenging Remy and Apollo. We've got Road Warrior Animal. He's going to be our guest general manager for the evening. The Gun will be taking on Anthony Toatelli. Tatanka facing Congo Kong, Too Cold Scorpio with Eli McFly, of course, DJ Zima Ion, going to try to give Troy Miller a run for his money, and of course you and Abyss doing your match for the heavyweight title. I also threw in a ladies match. We've got Sybil Starr coming down from Michigan versus Cindy, and we've also got our tag team title match. Jake Oman and Scotty Young will be defending now against Tracy Smothers and Bobby Fulton with Tommy Rich in their corner. So it's going to be a really awesome card, man, and I can't wait for Saturday myself.
Hey, Jason, when we're done with Ricardo, I've got some more questions for you if you can stick around. But I know Ricardo's time is short, so
sure.
Once again, this is the Undisputed Wrestling Show on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Everybody should go to heroesandlegendswrestling.com. That's the main page. You can see the card, see all the great action. You can order your tickets through that, or if you go to Ticketmaster.com, you can order your tickets through that. There are some special VIP tickets that are still available, and you can also pre-purchase your photo and autograph opportunities, including one for Ricardo Rodriguez. So everybody needs to go on there so they can guarantee that they can get a autograph and photo with Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yep.
So go there. Now
do that. Everyone do that.
Now. Do that. Now, Ricardo, I am very much looking forward to meeting you on Saturday. And you will see me walking around. I've got a big bushy beard, and I will be wearing, I'm not sure what color yet because I've got multiple sets, but I will be wearing some Zubaz.
Oh, I'm actually wearing them right now.
Well, of course. Of course you are.
I have my Zubaz on as well right now.
Well, very nice, very nice. So when I mentioned to one of my good brothers, Rich Abbott, that you were going to be on the show, he said, "Oh, make sure to talk to him about Zubaz. He's a big fan too."
Oh yeah.
So what?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, real quick. I wore them on Raw and SmackDown, and after I did, like my Twitter just blew up. Like the Zubaz guy hit me up, and then we started chit chatting, and he's been sending me Zubaz ever since.
Well, that is excellent. And, yes, you wore them, and then two guys, John Cena and CM Punk, wore them after you. I think that you should sue them for gimmick infringement. And,
yeah, right?
And there's a guy down in NXT, Mojo Rawley.
Mojo, yeah, he's been wearing them as well. But I'm just going to put it out there, I wore them on TV first. In the recent years.
Yes, you did. Now, are you a big fan of fanny packs as well?
Of course.
Got to keep your gimmicks.
That's my role, man. Underneath the gold gin tank top.
Well, you talked earlier about how you were a little frustrated with your non-wrestling role in the WWE. I got to tell you that one of the first things that my youngest son, I always watch wrestling when they're around, and he was 4 or 5 at the time, and he loved imitating you introducing Alberto Del Rio. Did you have a lot of kids come up to you and do that introduction? And
yeah. It was. I mean, obviously, like that was something that just it kind of happened. That was never the intention of the character. The intention of the character was just to introduce Alberto for the debut, and then that was it. But just things thankfully worked out for the both of us, especially for me. And they kept me around, and the characters kind of took a life of its own. And the way I saw it was, man, I'm just gonna have fun with it. You know, like I can't take it too serious because then it's not gonna be fun for me. So I just had a lot of fun with it, and I did. I think hopefully that kind of, showed whenever the character was out there. But it was a blast, and it was always nice because when people were like, they would like recognize me, and then like they would just look at me, and then they'll do like the whole Alberto thing, and then obviously I would react, so they would just smile and like, "Oh, you're him." I was like, "Yeah, I'm him." Nah, it's fun. It still happens from time to time. Not as much, but it still happens.
Now, did you freak out when you got an action figure?
Oh, of course. It was a bittersweet moment though, because like the first one, the whole thing, it wasn't so much the action figure. I wanted the packaging. That's what I wanted. I wanted the packaging, and then I didn't get the packaging because the first one was a Build-A figure, which I also didn't get royalties for it either. So I didn't get royalties for it, nor did I get the packaging. It was still cool because I got the figure, but I had to get the figure because I kind of took it from the Mattel guys without telling them at Comic-Con. Well, I told them I was take it, but I told them they never offered it to me. I was like, hey, I'm going to take this. They're like, okay, cool. But that's the only one that I ever got from my original one. The one that I had to take from the Mattel guy, Mattel, right? Mattel. From the Mattel guys at Comic-Con in San Diego. And it was just because I told, hey, I'm going to take it. Because obviously I marked out. But they never offered it. I was like, I'm just going to take it. But yeah, all I wanted was the packaging. And then thankfully the second one came in and then I got the packaging. So I was a little kid, of course. Yeah, it was exciting. That was very exciting.
Well, that is awesome. And, I know we've got to wrap up pretty soon, but I just want to tell you that your work on Saturday Morning Slam was phenomenal. When that show was done, that was my favorite wrestling program, and it might be my favorite wrestling program from the last 10 years.
Yeah, it was interesting because and I don't know if you guys knew about this. Up until Sheamus just did it, they told us no headshots, no shots to the head because it's for a kids show. So we weren't allowed to touch the head. So at first, when they first told us, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting." But then that was more like a test to us, hey, no, we're wrestlers. We should know how to work. But yeah, for the longest, we weren't allowed to do any shots to the head because it was a kids show.
Uh-huh.
And then I think Sheamus was a champ at the time, and then he just kicked the hell out of everyone. So that rule kind of went out the window after that.
Well, and my favorite match from Saturday Morning Slam, unfortunately it wasn't one of yours, but it was Daniel Bryan versus Tyson Kidd. They just had
they did I remember that. They did the whole like Johnny Saint spot. The rolling into a ball thing. I really enjoyed that one. I remember seeing it.
So what was your relationship like with Tyson? Because you guys tag teamed for a while on Saturday Morning Slam.
It was mutual. I mean, we weren't the best of buddies, but like I respected him. Of course, he was there when I got signed. He was one of the three guys that was there with me. It was him, Jamie Noble, and Evan Bourne, the guys that were watching us when we were doing our tryouts. So I mean, obviously and obviously because of the talent that he has, he's so good. I have mutual respect for him. But I think that's as far as it went. We were never buddies, but we were cool with each other, I think.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I've got to ask you one more question before we wrap up and do some more plugs. Were you disappointed at all when Alberto Del Rio came back and you weren't involved in that, or had that kind of?
No, I knew about it. I've mentioned it before in the past. Like he's a really close friend of mine, and it wasn't just a TV friendship. It was a real relationship that we had. So I knew about it. Here's another thing. Like there was never any jealousy on my side because that's my brother, that's my friend. I was happy for him. And obviously I was doing my thing in India, so my mind was somewhere else. Yeah, I wish, we would have came back as a group, but I was okay with him going back. And if the door ever opened up for me to go back alongside him, and I'll be open to it. But there was never any jealousy on my end. Cause again, that's my friend. And obviously, we spent the greater part of 4 years, basically living together on the road. And if you've ever been on the road, you develop this bond, with the person you're sharing the road with. You develop this brotherhood. Especially when it's somebody like, myself and him that we're always together every week, every month, every year for 4 years. So I developed a friendship with him. So yeah, there was never any jealousy on my side. I was very happy for him. I really was. And then I haven't been watching lately just because, of scheduling. Obviously being in India, we didn't have the channel. I would read what would go on, but I wasn't watching it. So, we all know how sometimes the comments on the internet can either, exaggerate or devaluate what's happening. So I haven't been watching, and like I said, I've only been back for a week. So my body's still trying to adjust to the time zone, to the time change. Mm-hmm. So I haven't been watching. I haven't been keeping up. So I don't know what's happening. I know they're doing that League of Nations thing, but I have no idea how it's going. I hope everything's good for him. I'm happy for one of my closest friends, Callisto. I'm really happy for him as well. So I wish him nothing but the best.
Excellent. Well, you're going to be in Fort Wayne this coming weekend. Have you ever thought, you're down in Orlando, you're coming to Fort Wayne this weekend. Have you ever thought about flying out to LA and checking out the temple?
Oh, of course. Of course. That's definitely, now that I'm back in the States, that's definitely something I want to get my hands on. Especially because, hell, I know most of the guys there anyways, and I've wrestled most of them, even the guys from AAA. I've wrestled a lot of them, during tryouts or, back in the indies or whatever. I've wrestled a lot of them. So, I definitely want to get my hands on that for sure. For sure. That's definitely on my list for this year.
Awesome. All right. Well, don't check out his Twitter right now. Give it a couple weeks so that way he can get it all figured out.
Hopefully there's nothing bad on it.
Can you let our listeners know your Instagram feed again, please?
Yes. Like I said, the Twitter one that's currently unavailable, but it's RRWWE. My Instagram is the letter J _Rodriguez 818. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. Should be fun.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and I definitely look forward to seeing you this weekend. And good luck in the Battle Royal. And if you win, I would not suggest challenging Drew's skills.
I don't know, man. Like that. He's been holding on for a little too long, I think. So.
Ooh.
But I'm saying, but here's the thing. Because he's had it for that long, that means he's a fighting champion, and he's willing to defend it and fight for it. So I'm up for the challenge, man. If he's up for it, if it happens. So.
Do you have any reaction, Drew Skills?
Good luck in the Battle Royal.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
For sure. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, buddy.
Right.
See you this weekend, baby.
All right. That was Ricardo Rodriguez, also known as Chimera, and a local. And look forward to seeing him at Heroes and Legends 6 this coming weekend, Saturday, March 26th, at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You can get your tickets through Ticketmaster, or you can go to heroesandlegendswrestling.com